Welcome back, guys. So we do now have the Japanese version of the Sega Genesis Mini, the Mega Drive Mini, obviously. And I think this thing is pretty neat. So what we're going to be doing today is unboxing it, taking a look real quick, plugging it in, and checking it out, because there's some interesting things going on with this little fella that makes me think like, hey, this is the ultimate version right here. Like, I'd rather have this version than the US one. But we'll get into that a little bit more in a moment. So here's the box. It's a little smaller than the US release version, just slightly, as you can see. Let me kind of situate it like that. It looks like maybe it's almost the same size this way, maybe a little bigger for the Japanese version, but we're extended a little further out on the US one. If you haven't taken a look at my unboxing and review and gameplay of the US version, there'll be a card up top. Take a look. So here it is. We do get the two 6-button controllers with this version. They also released another edition of the Japanese version that only comes with one, so you pay a little extra to get 2 controllers. And they actually did release, or they are releasing, the US version in Japan as well, which is being released as the way we received it, which I thought that was kind of interesting. So here we go. 40 games plus 2 Sega high-quality computer video game. Hells yes, 16-bit, the stunning graphics and dramatic action of 16-bit arcade hits can be yours with Mega Drive from Sega. Hells yes. So I don't read the Japanese. I don't really get all that stuff, but that's okay. This thing's actually got us covered. You don't have to be Japanese to use this device. All the games listed on the back, a little bit of English for copyrights and whatnot, but everything is essentially in Japanese on the packaging. This is a Japanese product, but I still think it's pretty awesome. Packaging is very well done. And let's go ahead and open this up. I did notice, and you guys, I don't know if you laughed about it, but I've seen a lot of other people complain about it. The cardboard used for the US version box is real flimsy. The Japanese one, slightly better. It doesn't like bend as easy as like this. I don't know, like it's almost the same, but it seems like 10% more sturdy. I know it's kind of a strange thing to complain about, but a lot of people have been receiving theirs from Amazon, like shipped in bubble mailers, which Amazon, geez, get your crap together, man. And they've been getting dented up boxes, and I even had an issue with my box, and I bought it in store. So here we go, USB cable. Nothing amazing there. We don't really need to spend much time on that. We have our HDMI. Boom. Japanese instructions. We're not even going to bother with that. Just tells you to plug this bish in. No power adapter. I don't think we got a power adapter here. The US version came with a power adapter to plug in the little USB adapter. So here's our system. Let's take a look at these controllers, because a lot of people, man, they wanted those 6-button controllers, and this is one way to get them, but you're going to notice something. The Japanese 6-button controllers are smaller than what we got. Obviously, compared to the 3-button controller, it's a lot smaller. But the 6-button Japanese controller is smaller than the US version 6-button controller that was originally released. A lot of times in Japan, they got smaller controllers. I mean, whatever, right? Nice little blue button there. This actually feels really good. It's not that bad. Mode button up here. Nice. I wonder if that'll function for go into the system menu. We'll have to find out. There we go. Sega model, what does that say? HAA 2522, Sega Games Company, made in China, of course. There we go. We do get 2 of them, but we're not going to bother with opening the second one. Let's take a look at the system here. Let's take a look. So here she is. Beautiful. Looks, similar to the US version, just a little different. Mega Drive. Everything's just slightly different here. There we go. A little cartridge slot. Essentially the same thing. So there's that. We're going to go ahead and plug this thing in, test it out, and talk about some more stuff with it. Now, I am going to upload another video, a very quick one, highlighting this product right here. I don't know if I can get it in frame with everything that's on my table here, but let's try come on. Oh crap, I almost dropped it. The Mega Drive Tower Mini. There comes with a 32X, the Mega CD, and Sonic and Knuckles, and a cartridge just for aesthetics, but it was still pretty damn neat. Couldn't pass on that, but we're going to do a real quick one on this later, so stay tuned for that video. But let's go ahead and plug this little fella in and take a look. Okay, guys, so we booted her up, and here she is, Mega Drive, the Japanese version. So all the games are in Japanese. Oh noes, I don't know what to do. I can't read none of this. Is this Sonic 2 or is this something else, right? Well, there's a simple solution to this that I think makes this version really amazing, but at the same time, you can do this on the US version as well. You can change the language. The US version, it prompts you which language you want from the get-go. And the cool thing with that is on any version you get, the US, the Japanese, the PAL region, you can change it to different regions by selecting different languages. Now you won't get any bonus games, nothing like that, but whatever's included on that system, if you bought the US version, you only have access to the games released on that system. If you have this version of Japanese, you only have the games that are on the Japanese version that we're looking at here. You don't get anything bonus that was region specific, but you will get these games in those different region versions, and there can be differences with some of these games. So I think that is pretty neat. With this Japanese version, there's going to be a handful of role-playing games or similar style games that there is no English version of, so they will stay in Japanese. But let's go ahead and just, instead of talking about it, let's get into it. Like, this is a cool example, Musha Lest. This is the Japanese version. The story elements, everything with it is in Japanese, but the game was released in English. So once we change this to English, we're going to have Musha, the English version. Now, some of these other games like Rent-A-Hero, it's just going to stay Japanese. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Up top left, that's the settings menu. And here we go. Everything's in Japanese. What do we do? You can always use an app and translate this stuff, but to make it easy, it's the second option, language. And then, oh no, it's still in Japanese. Which one says English? It's the second one. Very simple. Just remember second one. That's it. So here we go. Everything is set up. We have all the same options. Not going to dwell on this stuff. Same screen options, wallpaper options, all that good stuff. You can reset the factory settings. So there we go. And then boom, it changed to the Sega Genesis Mini version, but with just the games that were released on the Japanese version, right? So if the box art changed to US style box art, it's in English. Like I said, Musha, we have the English version here, which is not that big a deal. It's just some minor story elements. But then there's going to be a handful of things that stayed Japanese, like whatever this game is, Party Quiz Mega, stuff like that. You know, some of these games will still be playable, but, you know, if like the Hybrid Front, that's still going to be in Japanese. That's going to be almost impossible to play if you don't know Japanese, right? So that's one thing of note. Don't go running out buying the Japanese version thinking that it's going to translate all the games to English just because you selected English. It's only going to translate those games that were released in English. They included both versions, right? And the same thing, if you change it to like Italian or French, you'll get the European versions of stuff. So instead of like Contra Hardcore, you'll get whatever Probotect or whatever the European version was, and you'll have that region's differences in that game, that kind of thing. Not sure what the differences are, but there's going to be differences in some of this stuff. You'll get Vampire Killer instead of Castlevania Bloodlines. So the reason I really dig this is because, okay, there's going to be those handful of games that I'm not going to be able to play, but I don't care too much. Eventually, we're going to hack this thing. You guys know it. But there's just a handful of stuff I really wanted to play. Musha is one. Snow Bros. Snow Bros is already in English. It's not even that big a deal. Let's go ahead and jump into that. It's one of my all-time favorite games. One thing I want to point out right here is I am using the 6-button controller, and it doesn't bring up that little notice like, hey, hold the start button, because this controller has a mode button. So you use the mode button to get back to the system settings to do your save states, load states. Now, if I unplug the 6-button controller and then plug in the 3-button controller from the US, boom, it pops it up. During gameplay, hold start to save and load. Pretty cool. You know, you can use whatever controller you want, But eyes don't care. I'm sticking to the 6-button controller. So here we go. Let's jump into it and kind of showcase this game a little bit. The one thing I noticed, I don't know if other people have noticed it, but if you use that boombox background, it kind of seems like there's a delay when games load or when you exit. At least that's, maybe it's a second extra, I don't know, but it kind of seemed like there was a little extra. So here we go. This game, it's an arcade game. Like, even if there was Japanese text in here, it wouldn't matter because there's not really a lot going on with this game. But here we go. It's kind of interesting. To me, it's one of the best ports of Snow Bros. You know, it's an extended version of the arcade game, and that is flippin' sweet. You guys who have followed me for a long time know I love this game, and the Sega Genesis version is excellent. Just never released in the US for whatever reason. Released in Asian territories only. But here we go. The princess chicks are stolen, and now us as the little Snow Bros, we got to jump into it. Everything is in English. Start, floor. There's nothing that you got to worry about with this game. So that is pretty awesome. This to me is like, is it worth it just for this system? Not necessarily, but to me, it's a game that means something to me and I really enjoy it. So I thought it was pretty awesome to grab this one, get some 6-button controllers in a game that I really do enjoy. So there we go. Play just a second here. Boom, boom. Come on, come on. This game does get quite a bit more difficult later on. It's not as simple as it looks right now. There's power-ups and all that good stuff. Just haven't gotten anything yet. Get some sushi. There we go. So let's exit out. Hit that mode button. And boom. Turn the menu. There we go. If you do play some of the Japanese games on here, the one thing that you got to keep in mind, it's almost like the PlayStation where, you know, the O and the X button are like swapped kind of. Same thing with this. Like they use the C button as like enter or start for a lot of games instead of like the US versions use A. I've noticed that. It's not a big deal. Only a handful of games do that, but there are some Japanese games where it's like, you know, press the button to start. You got to hit C and not A. So just keep that in mind. Let's find, what was it? Musha. See, and the other thing, like Monster World 4, you got the English version on here. If you play it in Japanese, it'll be the Japanese version. I think that's really neat. But yes, the bonus here, another one, Musha. It's in English. There's some story elements in this game. I believe if you let it sit for a minute, you will get like a little story dialogue, little cutscene type thing. And it's all in English if you play this version of it. So that's cool. You got the English version of this game here. And it's just cool. I mean, I'm digging these little mini systems right now. The Sega Genesis is one of my favorites. Yeah, so far we haven't done any hacking. It's only been out a day. Like, relax. You know what I mean? They'll just be patient. We'll figure it out. Somebody will knock it out, and we'll be talking about it, looking at different things. Damn, can't talk and play at the same time. Always getting jacked up here. But there we go. I think this is really cool. Yes, it's not going to be crazy different from the US version, but if you have to pick one, for me, I would have went with this one. Yeah, there's a single controller and then this 2-controller version. So you'd kind of have to make up your mind on that. And it was about $100 to get this shipped to me. And they shipped it overnight. So, I mean, it was worth it. Wasn't that crazy in shipping. So there we go. Moshe. Oh, right before I was going to die. So there it is. I'm digging it. I'm really enjoying it. The little 6-button controllers are cool. Yeah, I wish we would have got the 6-button controllers as well. We do have different options. The Retrobit controllers, the Retro Fighter controller, all the wireless options that are coming out from 8BitDo and Retrobit. So there are options out there. Just wanted to share this with you guys. I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely digging this system. We'll take a look at the Tower of Power, the plastic Tower of Power, very shortly. It'll be a real quick video. So, hey, really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-byes, and boom. Bye.